Oh, okay. Start recording already.
We start the interview now. I'll
Okay.
do a brief introduction first. So before we start our interview, let me just make a brief introduction on our objective and the team members. So for this objective of this study, we are to create a business and information requirement study, which serve as a foundation of system design, development, and implementation, ensuring alignment between business objectives and technology solutions. So this interview will be our output video for this project. The team members, for our group, we are doing the F&B industry, and our subsection is supply chain. So for my team members, it starts with me, Pa Jun Hao.
And my name is Tan Xiao Jun.
My name is Tam Rong Jin.
And my name is Hong Yi.
And I'm Lin Jia-yong.
So today we'll be interviewing Ms. Teh Sek Hoon. Can you give us a brief introduction of your role in your company and which industry you are in?
Hi, good evening, guys. So my name is Sek Hoon. You can call me Teh or Sek Hoon. So I'm currently attached to Yeo Hap Seng, which is a food and beverage company. And beverage, we are specializing in Asian drinks. So my role is as the head of supply integrated planning. So what my roles cover is that I handle the manufacturing planning, the production planning, which includes the finished good, raw and packed material, and also include OEM, co-packer, outsource manufacturing. So my role is to ensure continuous supply in the company, to ensure that my customer or my intercompany export customer have sufficient supply, and that I fulfill the order based on the KPI we are being measured.
Okay, thank you for the introduction. So now introduction is done, we'll begin with our questions. For the first two questions, my teammate Tam Rong Jin will be giving the questions. So
Hi, good evening, Miss.
Hi.
Yeah, for the first question is, what is the company short-term and long-term goals in the packaged food industry, and what is your goal as the supply chain manager? Yeah.
So for my company, our vision was to be the leading company of healthier, delicious Asian goodness, and also growing Yeo's as the convenient food solution brand with the local twist. So basically, we want to be the Asian drinks champion or leader in the market. And also, we also have food, which our food is, we call it RTE, ready to eat, which is a canned food, or you can open it, it's cooked ready. If you wish, you can heat it up, but if not, you can immediately eat it. So that's why we want to be the convenient food solution, which is easier for those people, working adults, that when you go home, conveniently, you can open it. Then it comes together with beverage. So our food and beverage packaged together. So it will become a convenient and easy, ready to eat and ready to drink product to the working adults or the community. So for my goal as a supply chain manager, I think the most important roles that the part that I play in here is to ensure that we have sufficient continuous supply to the retailer, to the consumer, and ensuring food safety, which means that our product that reach our customer is safe to be consumed by our customer. And as part of a supply chain manager, we also want to ensure that the product freshness is there, which means that it covers safety, and also it covers the product that we don't receive complaint from customer in terms of the quality defect. That is the part of a supply chain role itself, because we are handling the distribution. Actually, from end-to-end supply chain is like from the product before being produced we are the one who will handle it until it's distributed to the consumer hand, to the retailer. So the food safety in terms of the total distribution is also very critical as a supply chain person itself, because ensuring that you deliver the product in the right temperature with the right trucking or transportation, this will ensure the food safety reach the consumer safely. Okay.
Okay. Okay. For the question 2, just before we begin, we would like to confirm that your company currently already has a running supply chain system, right?
Yep. We are using a ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning. S/4HANA is a SAP system. We migrate from SAP SAP, we call it SAP GUI ECC, into this S/4HANA, which is the latest version cloud-based. There's two. For SAP GUI itself is a premise-based, which means that we maintain the so-called the server, everything in our own office itself. But for this ERP that we have just migrated over, I think in 28 July itself, we go live with it. We migrate to the S/4HANA, which now is a cloud-based system.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So just to confirm, your current system now runs both locally and cloud-based, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So in your usual workplace, like as in like your daily working life, maybe your supply chain and your just basically how your overall department work, who are the people who are usually a major participant in the supply chain?
So for supply chain itself, actually supply chain cover a few sub-function itself inside. So we have planning, we have demand planning, we have supply planning, we also have production planning. So all the three planning function now reports to me directly. And also in supply chain, we have procurement. We also have the customer service, or people call it order to cash, OTC. Then it also includes production. In production, then we also have quality assurance team. And besides that, we also have one of the main component that is warehouse and logistic, which logistic cover freight forwarding, transportation, distribution. Warehouse will cover the storage of the space. So mainly in supply chain itself, all this function is involved in the whole total as a big supply chain. But certain company, they will break them into a few sub-functions. Like in my company now, operation itself, which is the manufacturing. Manufacturing director will cover the manufacturing team, which is the plant, and quality assurance and also R&D report to the manufacturing. Where else my superior, my boss, supply chain director, group supply chain director, he cover MPD, new product development also. He also have procurement report to under his umbrella, which is under our team, supply chain. Then he also have the planning team, which is our my side here. And also he have the warehouse and logistic, or warehouse and distribution, which also part under supply chain. So depends on company. Some company, they will put that under a single arm, which is the whole supply chain, total supply chain. Some put it package separately. Operation, which is mainly on manufacturing, will be under the manufacturing part, whereas supply chain focus mainly on all the supply chain, which include planning and also new product development. Quality is under under manufacturing and procurement side. So mainly all this, even though it's separated, but we work as a team, because from our side, manufacturing will be the one start the production, so that the product produced out will be delivered to the consumer. So it will go through, like on my part, I will be starting the plan where I will start to look into the replenishment of the finished good, which then link to the MRP, material requirement planning, for raw and packed material. And that will trigger for us to purchase, which link to the procurement. So procurement will buy the material based on our trigger of requirement. Then from the material itself, I will trigger for a production plan, which then manufacturing will produce it. While manufacturing produce it, they will send it to the quality for quality inspection, which range from 4 to 20 days, our product. Once it's released, it will go into the warehouse for distribution. And from warehouse itself, order processing, which is the OTC, will process the order when they receive from the customer, the sales order. And when the sales order is being processed, the distribution team or warehouse team will start invoicing it out to distribute to the retailer, which is where the supermarket will display our product on the shelf. And that is where when consumer will buy it. And this is how the end-to-end supply chain is interlinked together.
So you mentioned a lot of different departments that are sharing data among each other, right?
Yes, we are using the same system like ERP or the S/4HANA system that we are using. So one of it is the data we can, because of the system is an integrated system, and it is this system is cloud-based where it's accessed by the entire company itself, all the department, including not only supply chain, but the rest of the department like finance, or the other team like in the sales team, they also will be able to access to the same system. So the database is all in there. So for supply chain team or for the rest of the company itself, we can access or retrieve the data from there. Example, like if I want to retrieve the inventory stock balance. So for planning side, for warehouse side, we are looking at the same system. So we can use the transaction code of MMBE, which is for us to display the stock of each plant, where does the stock located in. So in this transaction code MMBE in SAP itself or S/4HANA, everyone can see where the stock was residing at. So this is where everyone from anywhere can know where the stock is located, whether my stock is located in my Kuching warehouse or in my Shah Alam warehouse. For me, for my warehouse team, for procurement, for manufacturing, everyone can access from the same system. So this is where the system is enabling us to be able to see the product, the stocks, where is it residing at, which this will also enable the team, like example, quality have a product recall. Example, if they have a product recall, they want to know where the product goes to or where the product is still sitting in, which we use a batch management to control. This is where they are able to go into the system and have a look at it. So in the event that product has been distributed out, so from there, we can use the key, another transaction code in the SAP, which is MB51, where we are able to check back the transaction code of where does the material has been distributed, processed under which sales order, or where has it been sent to. So this is where the system itself enables us to have a single source of data, and traceability is in there. Other than that, we also use, beside the system or S/4HANA, we also have our routine meeting, like we conduct S&OP meeting, sales and operation planning. So this is a monthly cycle where it consists of, in a whole month itself, we have 4 cycles to complete it. We start it with demand review, supply review, financial review, and management review. This is where the team of supply chain and non-supply chain, like commercial, salespeople, or trade marketing or marketing, will sit into the meeting, and we share data where in each level of the meeting, we will have a key performance indicator, KPI, to measure, like example, demand planning, we will measure their forecast accuracy. Sales, we measure sales also based on forecast accuracy, because what they forecasted versus what they sell, it will result to stock out. Example, they forecast 1,000 carton. So we might have some buffer stock. If assuming I'm keeping 2 weeks buffer stock, so I should be having 1,500 cartons sitting in warehouse. But sales did not alert and their forecast is not accurate. They end up selling 3,000 cartons, getting a sales order of 3,000. So what happened? We end up stock out. So we will not be able to fulfill another balance 1,500, which then indirectly, beside the forecast accuracy fail, we also have a stock out situation. Then we also fails our service level, customer service level, because example, if Jia Yong is the one cannot get the order, then he will be very upset as a customer, he will complain. So the failure of fulfilling our customer, this is where we measure the service level. And how we measure the forecast accuracy based on what the sales team or marketing tell us what promotion they want to do, what plan or strategy they want, and they projected this is the quantity they want to sell, and that is where our production will start triggering from there. So in the S&OP meeting or in other company that is more advanced, they use it as an integrated business planning, which is an advanced module of S&OP. You will have a 5-level meeting in there, which at the end, the management meeting or management review, this is where the country manager or the general manager or managing director of the company will make the final decision approval in terms of the business decision. Example, if stock allocation for stock out, no one can decide where to allocate or which customer will fulfill. This is where our management review will be the final part for us to do the revision. So besides system, we also have our monthly meeting, and for operation, for supply chain or production operation team, we also have a daily call where we spend about 20 to 30 minutes between the manufacturing team, warehouse team, customer service, and also supply chain team sitting in there to troubleshoot if there's any error or any issue or any call out in terms of priority to be given. So this is where we have a few processes in place, not only through the system. So the data sharing is being done in this type of situation.
All right, I see. Thanks for the detailed answer. Now we will be going towards a more security style of question, which should be asked by my friend.
Okay.
Hi, Madam Ted. So I would like to ask about how does your company or system ensure that the data inside remain protected? For example, like the data of the customer and supplier pricing data. And also, are there any regulations that the system need to maintain?
Yeah, so for data protection, our internal Yohapsing itself, we do have an internal control and internal audit team, which will be the governance of the internal control and process, where data security, data governance, and in terms of the data privacy and also data protection, this is where they will ensure that the process is being put in place. Example, we will also comply to the local authority regulation. So one of the example, like e-invoicing, we will also be complying based on local authority requirement, the implementation of e-invoicing. So this is where we will implement the system, launch the system to make sure that we comply to inland revenue. Other than that, I think inland revenue also have regulations that the data have to be archived or kept for 7 years in terms of audit purposes. So all this is being complied according to the local authority requirement. Other than that, we also comply to the JAKIP, which is the halal certification, because our product is all halal certified. So we have to make sure that we follow what is the certification requirement. Example, like traceability, like just now I have shared, where can we know where does our product go to? This is where we will ensure that we are complying to the requirement. Other than that, we also have food safety audit, where we have a certification of SSSC. And this is where we need to be audited by the local authority every year, which they will come in, they will audit in terms of our documentation. We have to ensure that we keep the documentation, file it accordingly, because at any point of time, if they want to do a mock recall, we are able to react based on the turnaround time they told us. Because about food safety, they can do a mock recall. So what does a mock recall mean is that is to ensure that your company have the traceability, have the data kept in proper manner, easy to be retrieved, but only accessible by certain people. So when they do a product recall, so example that they say there is a product quality defect which the drinks is poisonous, so we need to call this particular 1, 2, 3, 4 batch back. So they want to make sure that who is the one who is able to access to the information, because you do not want your information to go out and spread out everywhere. So they will ask who is the person who will have the access of the traceability in terms of the product. So that is where they will check that our governance of data is there or not. That means we do have a assigned or dedicated manager that can only access the data. So how our company do it is that we need to sign the data protection and privacy also as part of our employment requirement, which we sign on it. We say that we will not breach the contract. We will not share it. Example, I'm not going to share my product formulation with a competitor, example, FNN. That is a violation of breach of contract. So this is where we have the in-house data governance or our internal process or regulation where they will ask us to sign. And on top of that, yearly, we have a training in terms of our compliance, where we have to go through the in-house training to be certified to make sure that we understand the data governance and also the compliance. So this is where the internal process is being done in order to protect the data that we have in our system.
Would you say your current system is scalable?
Is what?
Aside from security, would you say your system is overall scalable?
Secure wise, yes, but we tend to also have some spam mail or phishing mail that come in. I give a typical example. Last 2 days, my CEO sent me an email, say that, oh, there's a vendor payment issue. So we do have that. It's not that we are not secure. I mean, we know lah, data now, the intelligent, people can still stand in and fake their identity, but we are being trained. So whether it's secure or not, we before we click on the link, we need to check. So this is where sometimes our IT who fake it and send it. So if we accidentally click on the link, then they will tell us and they will report to our manager that your subordinate is not well aware or is not really alert enough to check before they click on the link. So as a consequence, if let's say I accidentally click on the link, then I have to go through a 2 hours training to make sure that I'm being taught properly not to click on the link. So other than that, during the training section, we are being taught on how to identify those links that is not secure. So if we find that that is not the secure link, I will click on the phishing, which like I did last Friday, and send it over. So the email immediately will be deleted off from our network itself. And this will be reported where our IT will do the security check to find out where the link comes from. Other than that, we also have our antivirus, which is a company Wallfire is put in there to make sure that there is a few scanning or being scanned through before the data is being sent in, but still it will happen also. But there is a Wallfire in there, but sometimes it's being not, so far it has not been broken, if you ask. So it's quite secure. It's just that we are being tested on some phishing email and to make sure that the team is well aware or alert. If they accidentally click it, then they have to go back for a few hours training, a refresher training. Okay.
I think there was a mistake just now. We were actually asking, we were going to ask about security, but we were also asking about your scalability. So how easily expandable in terms of size is your current system?
The system is actually, if you ask about the system, whether it can be expandable or not, yes, it can, but it comes with a cost. Okay, depends on what the business requirement is. So example, if you if we look at the current system, there is certain, it's not 100% all the module we implement it. So we did not launch all the module. So in the event, like what module are we having now? We don't have a planning tools in there. Not to say we don't have a planning tools. We do have a planning tools, but we don't have a planning book in there, which that is some of the limitation. But it doesn't mean that the system is not workable. But it can be expanded. Yes, it can be expandable, but it can't be the cost because that will be an investment that has to be done. So it depends on the business needs, because in every system in the market, it is able to be customized, to be expanded, to cater to what each company require. But it's always sort of like people call a system investment cost, depending on what your company or what the company is looking at.
All right, thanks.
Hi, Miss Tay. I'm Chao Jun. So, from my side, I have a question, which is, I would like to know what are the current problem that do you think your system have, and what is lacking, or what do you think should be included in your system?
So currently, this is a new system which we use less than 2 months. So if I compare the current system with the old system, both system also there is a lacking. Like I shared just now, it's like we don't have in the previous SAP GUI, they call it SAP GUI, there is a APO SMP planning book, okay? Which if you have that, it enables planning and it is easier for people to plan, because it's sort of like my Excel table where it's easier for the planning team to look at it, and it come together with some of the key performance indicator like your stock on hand, your minimum stock, your maximum stock. So from an overview itself, planning itself can see, even when you do production planning, you're able to see the capacity. It's just like an Excel table where it already have all those indicator in there. But in current S4HANA, we don't have that because SAP has already discontinued the APO planning book, and they advance it into the SAP integrated planning book, which is a more advanced, another more advanced planning book. So this feature, we don't have it. So if you ask, I'll say this is the gap that we are having, because if we have this feature, it can help and also reduce it can speed up the process and also increase the productivity and efficiency of the planning team and also the production team. Because at this point of time, what they need to do is that they have to be very transactional. They have to go to a few screens to check, like example, they have to go to MD04, the stock requirement list, which is the base telling them which product need to be produced, which product is lack of. Then in order to check the material or the BOM of the semi-finished, then they need to open another section of the stock overview or MD04 to check. So it doesn't provide them an overview to tell them that where is shortages, but versus the APO planning book, you will be able to see, you can pull in together two locations, two different plants into the same screen where enable you to see which is the location that is short of, or distribution center that is short of stocks. Versus now, transactional database is like you have to open a few pop-up window, and you have to put it side by side, count it, so that you can see, oh, where is the difference or where is the shortages. So this is where I think that the lack of the planning tools or overview itself is where is the limitation for the current tools. The other thing is also there is also lack of a deployment, because in the S4HANA itself, they don't have these features where we can use it for deployment DRP, distribution requirement planning, because we have multiple DC. So once the manufacturing plant produce already, we need to go into the transactional code to see where to transfer, to create the stock transfer order to transfer. Versus if you have a distribution requirement planning, a second level DRP, then it will automatically tabulate and pull the stocks from the from the manufacturing side into the distribution center. Versus now we are doing manually because we don't have the DRP function itself. So that is where it will be a bit more transactional. Efficiency wise, you will be more resource. You need to spend more resources to do all this manual reconciliation or manual transfer or stock balancing.
Okay, so let me confirm, for the data collection is usually manual, but the overall, what's the word? The calculation for all the collected data is automated, is that right?
Data is calculation is there. So example, if you want to look at how the stock on hand from multiple DC, yes, when you pull the data, the calculation is there. But the manual part is that to consolidate the data. So you might be able to pull a raw data out, but in order to do a simulation or scenario, what if, or if we need to do something like decision making, so prioritization, we need to get those data and retabulate to do into an analysis. We are not able to draw out from the system analysis. So the data is there, but you need to analyze yourself.
Oh, but will you be better if it's automated?
Depends on what automation lah. It always comes with a cost.
So it means it's possible, but expensive.
Yes, it's possible. So if let's say in the SAP system itself, we have those called Power BI or business intelligence tool. So if you equip that into your ERP system, which is able to generate some basic analysis in there. But if you want to have more advanced analysis, you need to run a macro in your Power BI or come up with your own macro to tabulate into a more analytical data. So you can also use the Power BI to generate into some graph dashboard for yourself. But that is not to say manual. You draw the data from the system, but you need to write a program or write your base data of what dashboard you want to see in order to give you the analysis. So the only automation it did is that you need to do one time in terms of tabulating or coming out with a macro, so that every day, if you want to refresh, this is what we call an automation. You just refresh it, then it will come out to the report or the dashboard that you want already. So there is automation, and it will help in terms of automation for reporting purposes. And also for key performance indicator or key performance metric measurement. So example, if I want to measure my production attainment means that I give them a production plan. I told them you need to produce 10,000 carton. So I want to see whether they deliver or produce 10,000 carton. They might not. So this is where we will measure, and we can pull out the data in terms of what is the actual output versus what is the plan that we have planned for them. That will become a measurement to tabulate into a percentage. So we can do a formulation in there. So when you draw the data out, you refresh the report will tell you, oh, the attainment is only 50%. So you can get the data, but automation-wise, you still need to do some program in there, like Power BI or business intelligence. So some have our company, we also have our in-house tool itself. We call it 9K and 9ME. These are tools where you draw out all the workflow itself. Then once you draw out the workflow, it will give you a report of what you want, the outcome of the report, which you program into the format that you wanted. And every day, the team just have to make sure that they upload the raw data into the folder and refresh it, then the file will come out. So this is sort of like a semi-automation.
Okay. So you would say that your system is almost to a point where everything is already automated to some degree, that there's the only manual part is the minimum requirement for the system to work. Is that right?
It's not 100% or it is automated
No.
to what we expected lah. So if I put a scale 1 to 10, I'll say our automation part is only until 6. So we have
Oh.
another 4 point to go, because like what every company is looking at is that what costs are you spending in order to automate. I used to work with another company where the automation is there. So if I need to look at the service level report, I just go into the into the BI, business intelligence. I just put the date, like today or this week service level, it will tabulate it out. So if I want to refer to historical service level, I just need to put a date, and then the system will come out with a report that I want. So that is called 90% automation. My current system, if I want to see that 90%, I need to pull out the data, and then I need to run my own report, then only the 90% will come out. That's why I put a scale of 6 only. So it's not fully automated.
Okay, I see. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks. This should cover everything we are planning to find out from your industry and and our own objective for this research. We would like to thank you for joining us for this interview.
Yeah, I think that I think you all might have missed out the point in terms of you also want to know how we measure our goals and success also, right? We do have for a company, every company, there is a key performance indicator, or we call it KPI. So our company also measure KPI. So one of it is the sales revenue. So I think every company, the sales revenue is the main target to measure the success of the company, which it come together with the EBIT, the profit. So if you achieve your sales revenue, you achieve your EBIT, that is where the company is being measured as successful in terms of achieving their goals and objectives. Other than that, for our company, besides the profit and sales, we also look at market share, because we are having a lot of competitors. So the more or higher percentage of market share we can gain, example, in the beverage itself, for Asian drinks, non-carbonated. So the higher the percentage go, that is measuring how successful we are, because that's where consumer is aware about our brand, the brand awareness. So market share is to measure our brand awareness. Other than that, we also have the write-off. We measure in terms of write-off, minimize on our COGS or cost of goods, or our write-off in terms of, because write-off at the end, it will eat up in our profit. So all this is part of what we are measuring in terms to measure the success of the company achieving their goals and objectives. Okay?
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. If you need anything else, you can just drop me a note. I'll just give you all the answer. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Thank you, Miss.
Miss. Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.